Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Wednesday, and those of you who follow my Twitter feed might be aware of the fact that today is a very special day for yours truly. It's special because today is August 17th. A year ago today, I quit smoking. 19 years ago today, I quit using alcohol and drugs. So it is a very special celebration for me today. And I thought it would be appropriate to bring back not one, but two guests that I had here on the show, two dynamic, very interesting and entertaining guests. On the one hand, I have Mr. Joe Walsh, who is a fantastic podcaster. He also happens to be a Never Trumper, and he's not shy about letting you know. And on the other hand, I have Miss JoJo from Jerz, who, she's got a little bit of colorful language. She's very powerful and very dynamic and interesting. And I'm happy to bring them both on for you all to enjoy. Welcome, you two.
Hi.
Hey, Brooklyn Dad, it's great to be with you. Oh my God, JoJo, Jersey, JoJo, I am so thrilled to be with you. I mean it.
Thank you. Same. And Brooklyn, oh my God, congratulations on these huge milestones today. Like that is amazing. Absolutely something to brag about. That is awesome. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was not easy, you know, especially in this, not just the pandemic, period, the dealing with all the different rules, but in this age of Trump and Trumpism, it's really unfortunate that this seems to dictate our conversations and just our way of life. It's all consuming when really we should be focused on some good news. Like, for instance, the past, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks, but really it's been the past 2 years. President Biden has been racking up the legislative wins. Now, legislative wins are not sexy and exciting, but in the case of this president, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, you seem to be a study of politics. I don't remember in recent or distant history seeing as many legislative wins as President Biden has achieved thus far. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Brooklyn, he'd be near the top of the list. Look, I'm not a Democrat, and I don't support a lot of what he's done, but you can't deny the fact that Biden has had a hell of a productive first couple of years. It's a damn shame that people aren't aware of it. And I think the Biden White House has done a shitty job of communicating how well they've done.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, I see you out there in the Twitterverse, in the Twitterscape. I see you on replies. I see you interacting with people. Do you get a lot of shit from either people on our side or people on the other side? And I hate to say on sides, but you know what I mean. Do you get shit from them when you say positive things about the Biden administration or Democrats? What's your experience?
Yes. And by the way, I'm
sorry, Joe. That was meant for JoJo. Just
see, I was going to say this is so confusing because you have 3 JoJos.
I thought we had rules. I thought I was JoJo. I thought he was Joe.
You were JoJo. JoJo. This is for
JoJo.
you.
Okay. Ask the question again because I was thinking it was for Joe, not JoJo.
Okay. So, seeing as how connected you are with the replies to your tweets, I do see you get in there and you mix it up with people.
Yeah.
Are you aware? Are you getting a lot of shit from people who who say, oh, you're a cheerleader for the Democrats, or do they give you crap for celebrating these Democratic or President Biden wins?
I think the trolls give me crap for everything. And it's so much hypocrisy, which is hysterical because they think that they can call you out on hypocrisy, which is just projection. But I don't get a lot of flack from people on our side when I amplify Biden's wins, because honestly, that's what we need more of. Because to Joe's point, the Democratic messaging sucks. Like, they're just not good at it. Republicans can have a talking point. Like, let's just take the search and seizure of Mar-a-Lago, for instance, and Republicans were out within, I don't even know how much time, with the same talking point about evidence being planted there, or then that shifted, and when that shifted, they were all on the same page, and they stick to one thing. It's always a lie, of course, but they stick to it, and their messaging is strong. Unfortunately, they keep winning in the messaging game. And so I don't get a lot of crap from people when I try to amplify Biden's wins, because honestly, that's what we need to do more of. And hopefully people are receptive to it, because we need to get that out there. I mean, he's having all these amazing accomplishments, and his approval rating is still in the toilet, and we got to fix that. So we've got the midterms coming up. We really need this messaging out there big time.
Joe Walsh, jump in here. What JoJo is saying about the other team, their ability to stay on the same page with messaging? Is she right there?
Yeah, Republicans, my former party, they've always been really, really strong at that. And they've got this apparatus where they've got Fox News, right? Just, indebted to getting their message out. Part of the problem, I think, with the Democrats is Biden's done a lot. There's a record there. He's gotten a crap load done. He's not a good communicator anymore. He's older. And so partly this is on him. I don't think his team has done a good service by him. But I just, as a non-Democrat, for the past couple of years, it seems like the Democrats have been all over the map and fighting too much among themselves. It seems like they've been coming together the last month or two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, JoJo, you just mentioned the search and seizure of classified documents from Mar-a-Lago, which when I heard about it, man, I'm not going to lie. I was breakdancing as if I won the lottery,
Yeah.
It seemed like a very big deal. And every time we get these news bursts, these breaking news things about what seems like this has got to be it, right? This is what takes him down. Every time we get that, it seems like that's the silver bullet, that's the wooden dagger or stake or whatever, that's the one that's going to take him out. But that's one of the reasons why President Biden's wins have kind of been overshadowed a bit. It's because the constant churning of the crime syndicate news cycle. How do we break away? How do we break away from that? Because it's important, I think, to cover these things as they happen, but it's equally as important, I would argue, even more important for the successes of the Democratic Party and President Biden to rise to the top. How do we break through that cycle? Let's go with Joe Walsh.
This is my pet peeve, guys. The Democrats have to fucking fight. The Democrats have to fight. Look, Trump dominates our politics. Our politics was broken. That's why a horrible human being like him ever got elected 6 years ago. But yes, so he dominates the scene. Democrats shouldn't run away from that. Democrats should go after Trump and go after Trumpism and go after how ugly and authoritarian and bigoted my former party is. I think the Democrats right now lack the ability or the desire to fight. And I think that would help them if they did.
JoJo, you have thoughts?
I think that I think this is two sides of the same coin. I think we need to keep people engaged and to keep people fighting and to keep people fired up. We need accountability, and we need Trump to and all of his enablers and all of the cronies who helped plot a coup and an insurrection and all of them. We need accountability for them. We need consequences. We need repercussions in order for us not to feel less inspired to keep going. So we need people, we need to get that accountability. We need him to face consequences. But at the same time, we have to focus. Like this week was tricky because we had to focus on Biden and that passing and signing the Inflation Reduction Act, which is huge. I mean, the biggest climate action legislation in our history. But at the same time, there was this huge appetite for consequences for Donald Trump because it feels very close right now. But I know we've all been down roads that felt close before, but this felt, I mean, it's a pretty historic moment that we all just lived through where the residence of a former president was searched for classified documents by the FBI. I mean, that is it's hard to even really wrap your brain around how much crazy we've experienced, but just how historically crazy that is.
But first time a president's residence has been searched. First time a former president has had to plead the Fifth Amendment. That shit just makes my head spin. It's mind-boggling, and we are fast approaching the first time a president has been indicted. I think it feels like we're close to that. I want to pivot though to a tweet from Joe Walsh here. He says, Democrats waited until Trump committed impeachable offenses before they impeached him. That's how it's supposed to happen. Republicans, though, have already made up their minds. They intend to impeach Biden and Garland as acts of revenge. The Republican Party is fully radicalized. Now, Joe, impeachment as a weapon, can this thing be stopped? I mean, is there anything, are there any legal things in the Constitution or things in the law that say, no, you can't just use impeachment willy-nilly just as a, tit for tat thing?
No, Brooklyn, there isn't. Look, if the Republicans take control of the House on day one, when Kevin McCarthy is sworn in as Speaker, they can impeach Garland. They could start impeachment proceedings against Biden. Your listeners need to know, and for no reason, but your listeners need to know that if the Republicans take control of Congress, that's all we're going to get for 2 years is revenge investigations. But Brooklyn and JoJo, everybody listening to us right now needs to understand the politics of these past 2 weeks. This FBI search warrant strengthened Trump within the Republican Party. I talk to Republican voters every day, and I haven't heard enthusiasm among Republican voters for Trump running again like I have in the last 2 weeks for a long, long time.
Why?
That's depressing, but that's the reality.
Is it just Trump? Is it just Trump voters, or is it the entire Republican Party? Because you realize now those are two separate things. Then not every Republican is a Trump supporter, but every Trump supporter is a Republican.
Both. Every Republican leader and elected official, even, and we know the truth, most don't like Trump, even they rallied publicly behind Trump this week. I hear from Trump's base every day, and they're fired up. But I've heard a lot from other Republicans who aren't mega heads, and this has strengthened their support for Trump. So Democrats just need to be aware of that the Republican Party has united behind him for now.
Now, I want to now switch to something that JoJo experienced the other day. JoJo, like myself, is a huge Yankees fan. And, she said in one tweet, she said, baseball is restorative. And, I thought that was an excellent tweet. I agree. She was at the stadium, at Yankee Stadium, a safe space for her. She loves going with her son, and she had a really, really shitty experience. I'm just going to read this tweet and I'm going to let JoJo elaborate. Tonight was a rough one. I was at a Yankees game with my son's little league team, and out of the blue, and thanks to alcohol, I was targeted. Coaches who had just become aware of my Twitter started screaming my name and my handle, and then they started taunting me. To be honest, I'm shook. JoJo, Tell us what happened. That's really shitty, by the way. I'm really sorry that happened, at my stadium.
Yeah, it really is my safe space with my son. It's like I do think baseball's restorative. And ironically, something I was explaining to a friend before I went was the thing that I find so restorative about baseball is you have the stadium packed with people who probably disagree on a whole range of things and probably swing very wildly in those disagreements. But for those few hours, you can come together and find this common thing to cheer for. And that is restorative because, like, as a human being, that is what we crave. And it's been so lacking for so many years and has been under such sustained attack for so many years that when I go to baseball games and feel that connection to my fellow humans, my fellow Yankee fans, my fellow baseball lovers, like parents with children and, everything like that, it is restorative. Which is crazy when juxtaposed against what actually happened to me that night, which was everything that flew in the face of those feelings where I was with people I have known and I am a blue dot in a very red town. And I've gotten used to that fact. It's something that brought me to Twitter in 2017, to be honest, in the beginning. And I've learned how to navigate that where I don't engage in those conversations with people because they're not productive and they're not going to go anywhere and they're just going to cause problems. So what happened at the game was someone I've known for years had a little too much to drink and then remembered as I approached the cashier at a concession stand that he had just learned that I had this big Twitter platform. And I know that these people a lot of these coaches voted for Trump, and they now know that I have this huge Twitter platform. I don't know who told him, but he was very intoxicated and started screaming to the whole line and to the concession stand itself. My handle, well, he had it wrong. He was saying I was JoJo from Jersey and said I was on Instagram and YouTube, which he was corrected by another person who was helping him taunt me, which was all very funny, but he was screaming and pointing, JoJo from Jersey, she hates Trump. Pointing, my 9-year-old daughter was beside me, tugging my shirt because he was screaming my name and screaming that I was famous for hating Trump and that I was, this big social media star. And all of the activity at Yankee Stadium in that direct vicinity stopped around us, and everyone they came out from the concession stand kitchen. Everyone in the line was quiet, which in and of itself is crazy. But there were fingers pointing at me with my 9-year-old daughter there. And I didn't know what the objective was. I wasn't sure, knowing how he votes politically, if it was some kind of like aggressive attempt to get people to come up to me or challenge me, or if he was challenging me, but then it was like a taunting thing and everyone was staring at me. And I just kept asking him to stop and repeatedly asking him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. And I felt absolutely attacked. And it was so bad that the cashier, because I was standing in front of him, frozen, saying, please stop, please stop. He leaned in, whispered, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to follow you on Twitter because I agree with you. And I feel so bad for what's happening to you right now. And just to make the point just to take it one step further, we came home, we got home late. My daughter went to bed, my son went to bed, and we woke up in the morning, and I thought enough time had elapsed where I could talk to her about what had happened. And I said, do you want to talk about what happened last night? And she said, I never want to talk about that for the rest of my life. That's what my 9-year-old daughter said. That's how traumatic it was, because she could tell that even though I was standing up for myself and telling him to stop, that I was really frozen in fear. I was literally petrified, and she didn't understand why, but that had to be very traumatic for her. My cat, get down. Very traumatic for her to have. It was traumatic for her to have seen, and it flew in the face of everything that I had just said to you guys about what baseball represents to me and to my kids. It was the antithesis of that, because it erased all of that, the camaraderie, the humanity. And that's what's happening now to so many of these Trumpers, that they're more emboldened than ever. They don't even see the other side as human. And I know that's hard because I engage in a lot of rhetoric that isn't so nice, but like and then they were cheering when I recounted my story about this happening in front of my daughter. And I just think that they've gone way, way over the cliff with this stuff. And that was my experience in real life, which was shocking. It shook me.
Baseball used to be kind of that like sacred place where, all right, time out. We got a truce here. All right. We're baseball. We're concerned about your team's uniform versus my team, right? Yankees versus Red Sox kind of rivalries.
Right.
But politics. What the hell are politics doing in baseball? And it's disgusting that nobody came to your aid. And I'm really mortified that happened to you, JoJo. I'm so sorry, Joe. I posted. I put this up here a few minutes ago. This is an article. Trump will do whatever he can to help the country after FBI raid. Quote: temperature has to be brought down. Which everybody who read that statement read it not as, hey, I'm going to help bring things, but it came across as a threat to Merrick Garland. Like, if you don't back off, you're going to see what happens. Whose job is it to bring the temperature down? Is it Trump's? Is it the Republican Party? Is it everybody? Is it those jackasses at the baseball stadium to, fuck off, guys. This is a lady with her kids here at the baseball game. Can everybody just bring? Whose job is it?
It's all of ours. And JoJo, I'm so freaking sorry that happened to you and your daughter. That absolutely sucks. Look, we are really divided as a country. Trump didn't divide us. I think Trump's like the ugly consequence of our divide. And to JoJo's experience, part of the problem is politics now is in everything and everywhere. It used to be you could separate politics over here, but now it's just bomb. And both sides do this. It's too much in all of our politics. I agree with JoJo that my side, my former side, is off the cliff right now in their ugliness and hatred. Trump's incapable of lowering the temperature. And by the way, guys, Trump doesn't want the temperature lowered. This is what Trump wants. Trump wanted January 6th to happen. He wanted it to happen. Trump loves the fact that the FBI is under threats of violence. So he's not going to do anything about it. He wants it. It's up to other political leaders, both sides, to say, stop this.
Trumpers. We often see Trumpers as, caricatures of this photograph right here. Angry. I mean, they were angry throughout all 4 years of Trump's time in office. And it was weird to me. I remember thinking, like, what the fuck are you guys pissed off about? Your guy got into office. Well, however he got in. What are you so pissed off about? They stayed pissed. And it feels like the temperature is dangerously high. Now, I know we've seen people say, tomorrow is tomorrow is war, sleep well. What was that? Steven Crowder, jackass? And lots of people online have been threatening civil war, but we haven't really seen that. It doesn't mean that we can afford to ignore these threats. We should, I think those threats should be taken seriously. Each one of them should get a visit from the Secret Service or the FBI or whoever. But right now, what we're looking at is, it's boggling my mind. We have people who, quote unquote, back the blue, are now threatening the FBI. JoJo, do you feel safe as a blue dot in your red, overwhelmingly red town? Do you feel safe because people know who you are?
I'll tell you what, and another reason why I was shook the other day was because for the first time, January 6th shook me. It really did. To what you were just saying about, these threats of civil war and stuff. And before January 6th, I thought a lot of that was just empty rhetoric, right? And then January 6th happened, and it shook me because I didn't think anything like that would ever happen in this country. We all could say that. I don't think any of us could have ever imagined what we witnessed happening that day happening, but it did. And ever since then, my kind of assessment of threat is different. It's changed. It's altered forever. And the other day, when what felt threatening to me came knocking on my door in real life, not my physical door, but the door of my personhood and my children's existence, the calculus is different for me now. And a lot of people that I am friends with, either through Twitter or in real life, have said to me, like, you need to be careful. And people do know who you are, and it's not hard to figure out where you live, and they know your names, and they know what your kids look like, which is terrifying because I did that. And so for the first time really in my life, I do worry. I don't feel safe. It's not, the problem is because I'm a stubborn New Jersey mom, it's not going to stop me, and it's not going to silence me, and it's not going to make me be quiet or comply. But it is something I'm ever increasingly aware of now. And the other day, that's another reason it shook me so deeply, was because it was the first time that it felt real, that I could be under any kind of threat, or that it could ever hurt my children. So it's different. It's hitting a little bit differently now. And I was a little, I hate saying post-traumatic stress disorder yesterday, but there was a sort of like this weird emotional exhaustion that I was experiencing yesterday, having been through that traumatic experience, and then trying to get my footing on moving forward and what that's going to look like, because it is going to have to look different just in terms of safety measures and security and stuff like that. And that's crazy.
And Brooklyn and JoJo, I applaud your courage, because it does take courage to do what you did. 5 years ago, as a Republican congressman coming out against Trump, I've put up with hate and threats every day. But I mean it, JoJo. I applaud you for your courage. Here's the important point. The threats of violence before January 6th were there. And thank God those threats did not stop us from doing the right thing, certifying that election. Same thing's going on now. They're threatening violence against the FBI. We have to make sure, as scary as it is, we don't let those threats stop us from pursuing justice against this criminal.
Right. Agreed.
Indeed. And Joe, I want to switch, swivel, whatever. Pivot. I want to pivot to the Wyoming election last night. I'm sure you probably feel a certain kinship with Liz Cheney, who has taken a stand on principle. Now, I've already posted this many times on Twitter. Not a fan of Liz Cheney or her voting record. She voted with Trump 92% of the time. What I do respect and appreciate is the fact that she could have taken the easy route. Right now, we've seen that election deniers are guaranteed to win in the Republican primaries, guaranteed to win, mostly, But here she says, Joe Walsh says, Rep. Liz Cheney is going to lose tomorrow. You called it. And, she was already kind of losing by 20 to 30 points, but you never know, by a lot. But she will lose with her honor and integrity intact. She'll lose as an American hero who defended her country and her Constitution. She'll lose as a woman of immense courage, standing alone in a party of cowards. Thank you, Liz. Now, Joe, you're kind of in the same place, I think, as Liz Cheney, because you are a former Republican with no home. I mean, you kind of, ingratiated yourself with us, with Democrats, right? But really, you still are kind of, I think you identify as Republican. I mean, excuse me, independent, right? Where can Liz Cheney go now?
Probably nowhere. The hardest thing for a politician is to accept reality. And I accepted reality about 2 years ago when I left the party. This Republican Party is not changing. And I realized there was no room in this party, of which I'd been a member for my adult life. There's no room in that party for me anymore. Liz Cheney, I think, privately knows that. And I give her credit, because she said, guys, my job now is to stop Trump from ever becoming president again. That's great. That's my job too. Whether that means she runs for president or not, I don't know what she'll do, but she'll be pretty active in trying to stop Trump. But just know there's no room in the Republican Party for her. She knows that, whether she admits it or not.
JoJo, I want to switch over to you now. Knowing that Liz Cheney voted with Trump 92% of the time, hypothetically, let's say she decided tomorrow to become a Democrat, would you trust her as a Democrat?
I don't think she would do that, but I will say this, and I've said this too often, and especially since yesterday, but actually since really she stood up and stood in opposition of Trump and the big lie. I disagree with Liz Cheney on 99.9% of every policy political platform there is, and I will maintain that forever, and I will fight her on things like criminalizing abortion and not wanting to do anything about climate change and all of that happily any day. The thing is, the one thing that we do agree on supersedes all of those differences and is the umbrella under which those debates can happen. Because without that one thing, without legitimate government, with an authoritarian in power, none of those discussions or debates are even possible. So I don't think Liz Cheney would ever come out as a Democrat. I would welcome her and have welcomed her position and her fight on this one thing, because it is incredibly important to have all the voices we can. And she's, for better or for worse, she's a very capable politician. She's a very well-educated and knowledgeable woman. She's a very powerful and articulate one. And I think she is a leader. I do. Do I disagree with her on most things? Yes. Would she be welcome in a tent? I hate that term, but I still will say it. Any tent that under which we are unified and fighting this authoritarian is like bent that is happening right now with the cult that is the Republican Party, 100%. I would welcome her. I would embrace her. I would fight alongside her because we need her voice as much as we need our voices.
Hey, Brooklyn and JoJo, let me just add this. I'm not a Democrat, and I would never expect the Democrats to embrace a Tea Party libertarian like me. I get that. But you know what? We're all on Team Democrat now. I decided 2 years ago, as JoJo knows, my former party is an existential threat to this country. What does that mean for a conservative like me? That means I got to help get Democrats elected, and I'm going to continue. So temporarily, I'm on Team Democrat, and I hope Liz gets there as well.
I would much rather have you on our team, Joe Walsh. This version of Joe Walsh, not the Joe Walsh, not the Tea Party Joe Walsh, right?
Too crazy. You don't want the Tea Party crazy.
No. Now, I am well aware that you are on a strict time schedule, but
which, by the way, sucks because I could be with JoJo for like 10 hours.
I gotta ask you about this.
I've heard that either.
I gotta ask you about this tweet because this concerned me, right? I might have seen or heard this elsewhere, but when I saw this, I was like, what the fuck? Yes, if you're wondering, an indicted Donald Trump would still get the 2024 GOP nomination. He sure would. And I'm thinking to myself, God damn it, they're talking about freaking espionage. They're talking about, tax fraud, insurance fraud. They're talking about inciting insurrection. They're talking about all this shit, all these charges he's looking at, election fraud. And Sean Hannity said the other night, being a felon is not a disqualification. I'm like, dude, what? According to the Poynter Institute, that federal law does not prohibit a felon from holding office in the United fucking States. And that seems like a ridiculous loophole. What? Joe Walsh, explain.
This is why I say without any doubt that an indicted Donald Trump would still be the nominee, because I talk to these people every day. I talk to Republicans every day. This is what they tell me. So I have no doubt he'd still be the nominee. If he were convicted and put in jail, that might be another story. But an indicted Donald Trump, hell yes, he's still the nominee.
Okay, but for him to be a felon, he would have to be behind bars. But apparently, because those exact words are not in the Constitution, that means anything that's not already in the Constitution yet is fair game, right?
So even a felon and even him behind bars, he could still run for president. That may be a step too far for most Republican voters.
You would think, but
you would think. You would hope.
You would think. But then again, he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and not.
Well, yeah. Because the context to all of this is this. Donald Trump led a conspiracy to try to violently overthrow an American election. And that didn't make him a pariah in the Republican Party. In fact, they cling to him even tighter. So he can do anything.
All right, Joe, I don't know if you have to bounce yet. We've been live now for 36 minutes. And unfortunately, that means you are going to miss out on our really fun and exciting guessing
JoJo,
game,
you better
Who
kick
the
ass on
Fajizi.
that.
I always give myself way too much credit for this shit. I should be good at this, but then again, I fucking did your jingle thing today, and I was like, wait, which is it? Applebee's? Is it Ruby Tuesdays?
I love the jingle thing. The jingle thing is awesome.
I give myself too much credit. I'll probably suck at this too.
JoJo, you need to let me know how you do. I'm thinking and praying for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I feel the wind under my sails from your support. I really do.
And on a serious note, before I hop, to both of you, mean it. You're public people. It takes courage to do what you do. God darn it. I thank you so much for doing it. Don't stop. JoJo, don't you shut up. Keep doing your thing, Fiddle. I mean it.
Same. And I am going to call you out for some stuff. You know I'm going to come call you out for some
after me when I deserve it. Yes.
Joe Walsh, actually, do you have time for one question from a viewer right now?
Yeah.
They want to know, but could a felon pass the security clearance required?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
For real?
For real.
Come on, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Especially if he's convicted of selling like nuclear secrets. I mean, like that's insane.
Yes.
Wait, those founding fathers fucked up a little bit, y'all. I'm just gonna say it. It needs to be said. They did not think of everything.
They were brilliant, but they didn't think of everything.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Walsh, let me just throw up his information here. Joe Walsh, if you want to follow him, and I think I seriously advise that you do, because he is putting out some.
Don't follow me.
He's putting out some fire these days, some fire tweets on Twitter, and he is also the host of his own podcast, White Flag with Joe Walsh. So check him out on Twitter. And Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope to have you back at some point soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
You got it.
Bye.
Now, JoJo. Now I can call you Joe or JoJo. What do you prefer?
Joe.
Joe. Okay.
Yeah. JoJo is very select people, and it is my Twitter handle, but it's just Joe.
Interesting. Okay, good. Now, you tweeted the other day. You said, "Hi, educator here. Fuck this and fuck him." Now, background on this, that was a video, and it was a video of Ron DeSantis basically explaining that he's going to have veterans with no training, no education, no educational training whatsoever teach class down there in Florida. You're an educator. What's your take on this?
I think Ron DeSantis' sustained attack on public education is one of the most frightening things about him. I think he is definitely one of the most frightening potential candidates for 2024. I think he's more frightening than the melted circus peanut. But that particular thing, and he echoes this stupid sentiment today. It was cops. I think he said, I can't say police. Was it something? I have nothing against veterans. I love veterans. I come from a family of military. I have Air Force. I have B-1B Navigator Air Force members. I have 3 Army. I love veterans. My dad worked for DOD for his entire adult career. I love the military. I love services. I appreciate their sacrifices. I think that they offer a great deal of things to this country that no one else can. Do I think that it's a good idea to continue to undermine teachers in public schools, and then when you disenfranchise them so much that you push them out of the profession to replace them with people who didn't go into that profession by choice, and just sort of like shove them into these positions where you need someone who knows what they're doing? No, what he's doing is he's basically making come to fruition the things he believes about public education, because he's saying public education doesn't work. Well, if you put people who aren't trained in those positions because you've chased away the people who are trained, then you're undermining public education. You're just proving your point that it doesn't work. And this is one of the things about him. He really doesn't like public education. They're grooming when he got rid of the math textbooks because they were woke. It infuriates me. I'm an educator. I'm a special education educator. We need support from our administrators. We need support from every level of government down, because it's a very taxing job, especially in the climate that we live in now, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's not just certain people who feel, it's not just MAGA and Trumpers who feel emboldened to be aggressive. There's this general theme in this country, and we've seen it in board meeting after school board meeting. These people are nuts. They'll chase you out to your car. It's hard enough to work in education. So yeah, I just think that whole notion is ridiculous. Support the teachers that you have. Support the staff that work in the schools, the people who chose that profession, and don't be like, well, we'll just replace you with veterans and police officers who didn't want to do this. But like, they're smart people. They're good people. They love America, because apparently we teachers don't, which, by the way, I cry every time I hear the national anthem. I have an American flag flying outside my house and have done so since 2016 and before. So don't tell me, because I don't have a never forgets bumper sticker on my car above my truck nuts, that I don't love America. Like, they're not going to get to say that. But anyway, those are my, that's just a general review. How pissed that tweet made me. It just upset me.
Yeah. I mean, I find it interesting that you prefaced your comments, and your comments were fire and they were right on point. You preface it by saying, look, I got nothing against the military. Of course you don't. And most of us can all agree. Thank you guys women, men and women, for your service, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're not trained to go, there's plenty of teachers out there who are trained, but the problem is that he is kind of chasing and scaring a lot of the reasonable teachers away from work down there. And I have a comment I threw up here from Corey Lord, one of our faithful viewers, who says the career of being a teacher is not a crime. They have capabilities others do not. Teachers need our support. And I love that comment. Thank you for making that, Corey.
Would you, if you needed a colonoscopy and you couldn't get, a doctor to give you a colonoscopy, would you just get a vet to do it? Like, would you be like, I'm just going to hire a veteran to give me my colonoscopy, or it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, no, again, no knocks against veterans, but it's just ridiculous to think that we don't have to support the people doing the job. We'll just replace them with other people.
There are plenty of things that you learn, I'm sure, when you had to train to be a teacher. There are things that you learn that aren't like, you can't pick it up from watching an episode of Abbott Elementary, right?
Oh, right. No, absolutely. I mean, you have to be motivated to be in it for all the right reasons too. I mean, it has to be, not that people can't change professions, but it has to be something that you're choosing, because it is not easy. And let me just tell you, it doesn't usually pay a livable wage either. So that complicates matters more. And, we live in a weird world where you want to keep your kids safe, and you just want to make sure that these people are vetted, and not that there can be anybody who's a teacher who went to school to be a teacher who could turn out to be a scumbag, but still, it's not something that I'm not just going to casually pick up plumbing tomorrow because I feel like I could do it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been a paraprofessional since 2016, and it's something I learn something new every year and to aid me in my job that you can't just jump into and expect to be like proficient at or good at. It's crazy. Utter insanity.
has the school board drama spilled over to your school? Have you witnessed any of those crazy scenes with people being followed out to their car after the meeting and screaming in people's? Have you seen any of that stuff?
No, because this is not, we don't have a very progressive school board or a very progressive town. So there hasn't been any of that here. The school board pretty much aligns politically, even though they're not supposed to align politically with anybody, but they seem to align politically with the right. So there hasn't been, I haven't seen any of that. I think the opposite would be the case, if anything, but there's just not that many of us here to make a stink about anything. But yeah, no, I haven't seen anything like that. Thankfully.
I got an interesting comment here from Gail. She says, what death Satanist said also is a disservice to veterans, which lumps us all into one stereotype of his ultra-maggot group. But many veterans want proper training for any skill/job.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Excellent.
Point. Yep.
Do you have any nicknames for Ron DeSantis that you'd like to uncork here?
I do. I call him Death Santis too, but I really just call him Mini Trump a lot, because I don't know if you remember, one of his first campaign ads was where he was building the wall with his little toddler son, and they were he was reading a story time book to his son, and he mimics a lot of his accordion hand gestures and stuff. He's smarter Trump. Unfortunately, I hate calling him smarter because he's still an idiot, but he is. Yeah. So I don't have too many nicknames for him. Other than Death Santis and Mini Trump, I have plenty of nicknames, but not so many for him.
He's number 2, actually, on the list of people, the list of names people would like to see run for president in 2024. He often comes up in a distant second to Trump,
and they can't run on the same ticket, so it's going to have to come down to. It's probably I'm just going to say, I really don't think that Trump will be the nominee. That's just, I know that's a bold thing to say, but I don't think it's going to be him. I don't even think he has the appetite for actually doing it. I think he'll say he's running, but I do think it's DeSantis's to lose the nomination. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're 100% right. Although, what we were just talking about with Joe about, the fact that a convicted felon could run for president is scary as hell. It's a scary idea.
Very.
But I think the only reason that he's keeping the prospect of him running for president out there as a possibility is because he wants to keep the donation spigot turned on and keep people donating, and maybe he'll use the money for his legal defense fund. And I don't know if you heard today, according to the Washington Post, he's having a tough time getting a top flight lawyer to represent him. I wonder why.
Shocker. I mean, it's not because he doesn't pay them or because he's unhinged and doesn't listen to a single word that they ever say. I'm sure it's nothing to do with that. Yeah. I'm sure people would normally be drawn to him like crazy, moths to a flame, but it has nothing to do with him being legal kryptonite. I'm sure he's probably an ideal candidate for somebody to take up as his attorney. I'm sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think he'll announce a run because he thinks it will shield him from persecution, from criminal persecution, because he does believe, and I'm sure he believes, that the presidency shielded him from persecution. I think he thinks it's going to shield him from whatever he did with those classified documents, which we have yet to uncover. And to Joe's point before, I think if the maggots find out that he sold nuclear secrets to the Saudis, the country behind 9/11, there'll be some cognitive dissonance there. I don't think they'll even believe it's real. I think he'll tell them it's not real.
He'll say fake news. Yeah,
exactly. Because now that's what he's been working all these years, and the Republicans are working all these years to dismantle facts and truth to the point now where he can say something like, that's not real, they planted that's fake, and the cult will buy it because there's no such thing as actual truth or fact unless it comes from his mouth, and that's a cult. So I don't think anything will move the needle for them because they'll just say it's not true. That's what they do.
Hey, you're a mom. I'm sure by now you've heard the craziest excuses from your kids when you want to find out what happened, who broke this, right? Am I right?
Yeah, Oh yeah, it's always not me. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. Yeah, I didn't realize it. I didn't see it. I didn't know. Yeah, lots of those.
I ask you that because we've seen in the past week and a half since this news broke, we've seen so many different excuses from it was planted to actually I declassified that, or President Obama, he had 33 million things.
Yeah, I have a tweet about that. I was like, wait a minute. So the information that he said that he didn't have and then said he sent back but didn't send back, we're now learning that it was actually declassified by him, but information he didn't even know he had, right? Information he didn't know he had. He's now saying, oh, but I declassified that. And then, oh, by the way, it was planted here. Like, and I mean, it's just this onion of bullshit. It's a Russian nesting doll of bullshit. You open the big nesting doll, there's another there's another lie, and another lie, another excuse, and it's ever revolving because it's all bullshit. And he doesn't care if it's a moving target because the cult's like, yeah, that's right. And then the Republicans all get on the same talking point because that's what they do, because they're loyal little lapdogs. And then that just perpetuates itself. I mean, we have a guy who's the big lie is now considered really, like, I think 80+% of that party, 87 or something percent of the Republican Party believes the big lie. Look around at all the election deniers who are getting elected. That he took a lie, no proof, zero proof, years to prove.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's important to remember when we say 87% of that party. Let's keep in mind 80%. The Republican Party is roughly about 29 to 30% of registered voters.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's not a lot of people.
It is not an insignificant percentage. Right. It's still a shit ton of people to believe a flat out lie.
You can get them to believe anything. Doesn't matter how outlandish or ridiculous. Anything. As long as, I mean, it's, if you tell a lie, right? What is the quote? Make it big.
A big one.
And repeat it often. Basically, that's me very much clip notesing that, but still, that's really what it is. We'll do
Indeed.
With this too.
All right. I am right now going to jump onto our guessing game for today. Wait.
Okay.
All right. This is Who the Fajizi, and fajizi was my was my word for fuck, right? Who the Fajizi?
I like that you said fuck anyway.
This is basically a game where I'm going to show you just a piece of somebody's face, their eye, their nose, their mouth, their ear, maybe the top of their head, and you have to guess which public figure this is, who the fajizi it is. Okay. And if you get it correct, you know what happened. You know what you get.
Cowbell.
You get the cowbell, but if you get it wrong,
that is so sad.
Or the Family Feud.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. I don't want those.
Okay, so let's see. Here's the first one.
Oh, that's Adam Schiff.
Woo!
Yeah, that's easy.
That was lightning fast. In fact, you beat our viewers who would have known this already.
I'm sure. That's the sound effect I want. Yay! Okay.
Okay.
I feel like
next one. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the next one.
Nancy Pelosi. That is Nancy Pelosi. I know that. I love my speaker. Love her.
Excelente. You are 2 for 2.
How about it? That's so much better than last time. Okay.
Yeah. What did we do the last time? Was was I singing?
Trivia. You did very difficult trivia.
Oh, it was the trivia. Right.
I really did not have a good showing.
That was, I think, I should know this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, well, there goes dinner. That is, as I like to call her, spork foot, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those eyes are criminally close together, folks.
Indeed. Well done. And you are 3 for 3. Let's see if we can keep the good times a rolling. We got a whole bunch of people.
Look at how
What's that?
Look at how it's crazy how close. I do call her Three Toes too, but I've moved on to Sportfoot because it's just funnier to me.
Magic the Gathering. We got Nurse Mitch here saying Cro-Magnon Marge.
True. Look at those eyes.
Oh, here's a clever one. Perjury Trader Green. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I like that. And it's clean. And it's not. I'm so. Wait a minute. Oh, that's our new SCOTUS. It's not. Wait. Is it?
You want to guess again?
Yeah, it can't be Michelle Obama. That's not Ketanji. Oh.
So sorry. We were looking for.
I love Joy Reid.
Yeah.
She's too fabulous to focus on just her teeth like that. She's just
swing and a miss.
Well, that was a hard one. Lordy, was that a hard one?
Okay, here's the next one.
Love her. I'm not allowed to call him the evil turtle because I can get banned on Twitter for that. But that's Cocaine Mitch. Moscow. Yeah. Well,
what is this business about getting banned for calling him?
You're not supposed to compare. We'll technically call him a human to animals. Like Twitter doesn't like that. So Twitter
Are you kidding?
Send you for that. This is what I've been
told. Dude, for real. You
so
kidding?
I just make comments about their 5 heads and their sport toes, and I try not to call them animals if I can avoid it. But he is an evil turtle.
JoJo. For real. Are you kidding me?
No, I've been told. I learn something new every day about the Twitter. I've gotten suspended, for nothing actually. But no, I'm not. I don't call him the evil turtle anymore. Yeah, bitch McConnell. Yeah. God, that eye is terrifying. Ugh.
Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I must have referred to him as a turtle a gazillion times. I even have in my book. Look at this. In the book.
But that's not on Twitter, so you should be okay. I don't know. This is what someone told me, because when I got suspended, every possible thing was explored that I had done wrong, and one of the questions was, have you compared anybody to an animal? And I was like, I don't know. So
I was today years old when I learned that was.
I just don't.
No.
I say it. I don't tweet it, and I tweet lots.
Crazy.
Crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh God, that's twitchy. That's Twitchy McGee. Then no, wait, or is it Twitchy? Is it dumb or twitchy? It could be. See, with that stupid chinless side profile, it could be either Uze or Kuse. So I actually think that's dumb. That might be fidget spinner Eric, but it's a tough one because it's the no chin. But I'm going with Eric. I'm on a cowbell on this. Is it Eric? It's Don?
Yeah.
See, oh, shit. It could have been either one of them. I mean, I know Don has like more of this thing that covers the no chin, but
it's the weak chin thing, right?
Yeah.
The beard is not covering it. The beard is not covering up the weakness.
No, it's so much weakness.
Yeah.
I call him Twitchy. Twitchy, that's his name.
All right, so you whiffed on 2 of these. You can still have time. I
get a half
to redeem yourself.
I get a half a point for that one because it really they have the same stupid no chin.
I'll give you a full point if you can give me 2 funny nicknames for this jackass.
Oh well, I call him the Chinless Wonder. I call him the Evil Twat. I call him Twitchy McGee a lot. Cokie McGee.
Cokie McGee.
Pretty much.
You gave us 4. That's good.
Going.
You get the 1 point.
I get a lot of good feedback when I call him a twat, the chinless twat. Yeah. I make fun of him for being nepotistic too. Oh God. Can y'all take a joke? That's Huckabee Sanders. It's called a sense of humor. You should try it sometime. Shoot your dinner, Sarah Sanders. There she is, folks.
She's running for governor of Arkansas.
Yes, she is. She's probably.
It looks like she's going to get it too.
Yep, sure does.
I mean, this is crazy. I can't understand how Americans are voting for these people.
Hell if I knew. I can't explain it. I guess whiteness is a powerful, powerful thing. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Racism and ethnocentrism, and your whiteness buys you superiority when nothing else in your life does. We are going to give you this one thing, and it's going to make us all powerful while we're in the clutches of extinction. Yeah. Oh,
Indeed.
I hate her. Oh, what is her stupid name? Miss Wyoming. She looks like she's wearing a mask. What is the lawyer? Hagerman? Is her name Hagerman?
Very good.
Oh God, she's terrifying. She looks like someone said she's all the characters from Kids in the Hall combined. For fuck's sake! I mean, what? My friend Brian Guest tweeted a picture like that, and it said "Sleep well, Wyoming." Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like, you have to. If I were to do that with my face, I would have to intentionally make my eyes super. Yeah. What are we? Okay.
Yeah. Was it Hagerman? Is that her name?
Yes. Yeah. I forget her first name. Hang on.
Melissa, Michelle, Maggie.
Harriet. It's Harriet Hagerman.
Perfect name for her. She is screaming Harriet. Yeah. Right. What even color is that lipstick? It's like fucking Smurf juice. What is that?
Okay, here's the next one. This one maybe not so easy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, I know who that is, and I love him. And his name is not coming to my mind right now, but I love him. Help me. Help me. I love him. He's gorgeous. What is his name? Oh my God. Oh God. I know who that is. I know exactly who that is. I can't think of his name. Wait, it's here. It's in the brain. I can't think of it.
We have people guessing.
Give me a clue. I know who he is, and then
he's a member of Congress.
I know that. I know who he is. He's gorgeous. I tell him all
from Brooklyn.
Oh, give me a hint to the name. Nick Rhyme it. It's killing me. I love.
I'll give you a letter. H.
Help me. Help. No. It's here. It's in my brain. It's not coming out of my brain. It's like one of those things where you know it, and you can't think of it. You just can't tell me I love him, and I'm so upset. I think I'm blocking it out because I love him so much.
Sorry. We were looking for Hakeem
Jeffries. Jesus, Joe, come on. I love that man. I just went into some crazy weird place where I couldn't process it. I love Hakeem.
Yeah, Jeffries. He's a great guy. And fun fact, I am in discussions to have him on the show.
Oh my God. You bring me on so I can just say his name for 20 minutes straight. Because I'll never be able to fully redeem myself for this. Because I think he's one of the most beautiful men alive.
I will I'll let him know you said that.
Okay. And those eyes are really what sets him apart. And I knew who he was, and I just couldn't close it.
I did meet him like a month and a half ago. I met him.
Did you just swoon all over him? I mean,
the dude is amazing. It was all I could do to just keep my shit together, and not fangirl all over him.
But, that's how I would be. That's how I am with Preet. Like, I get all girly and dumb. Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. I believe this is our last one here.
Oh. Is that McMaster? Wait, give me what? Wait. It's not McMaster. It's not
That's
Dr.
a good guess.
Evil. It's not a hairless rat. It's not a hairless mole, I mean. Wait. How many bald people are there?
Ooh, I got a bunch of people guessing correctly here.
Wait a minute.
My goodness.
Who looks like that? If it's not, it looks like McMaster's head.
You give up?
Sure. I hate being wrong. Oh,
We're looking for
Fetterman.
John Fetterman.
So yeah, that's crazy. I guess I've never given, right. Good job, Sylvia. I've never given a lot of thought to his head. I don't know
And
why.
John Fetterman is actually up by double digit. He's got a double digit lead on Dr. Crudité Oz.
I do. I call him, what do I call him? I call him wait, the Crudité King of New Jersey. Yeah, no, Fetterman's gonna kill him. Fetterman's social media game is on point, by the way. Like, did you see?
I'm here at Wegner's right now. Here at Wegner's, picking up $100 worth of vegetables for instead of just buying a $9 platter of vegetables, and I'm calling it crudité instead of vegetables because that makes me like a regular guy who lives in a mansion in New Jersey.
He's got like 10 mansions. I mean, yeah, and he lives here in New Jersey. And I love my state. And I don't want to claim him, but the fucker lives here. Let's be real. And Fetterman's going to kill him. Let's thank God. And did you see Val Demings is up on Marco the Weathercock Rubio?
Yes, I believe it's by 4 points. Is it 4 points in Florida?
I will throw.
Let's hope we can build on that. And let me just say this, right? Because I've gotten some comments over the past week or so. Oh, don't focus on the poll numbers. And I get it. I do get it, guys. I am not completely oblivious. I know that, we should not be it's not complicit. It's
complacent.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll give you that because I couldn't get that Team Jeffries, so you can have.
We can't be complacent on these poll numbers, but the whole point is to fire up the base, with some motivation. That's all. Motivation. Get excited, because if we're not excited about this shit, you know what they say in the media? Oh, Democrats seem they seem they disillusioned and depressed, and the turnout is going to be low. So no, let's get excited about this. Our team is doing good shit.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with us doing what the other side does all the time, and they do it actually very well,
Yeah.
And celebrate the successes and hit the other team when they screw the hell up.
Hell yeah. And if you think a win is attainable, you're like, well, shit, actually, I can do this. And then it motivates you. If you're like, oh my God, I'll never get there because like she's down by like 5 points. It's so depressing. Like, no, she's up by 4 points. Let's go. Like, let's go. Yeah. This is within our reach. The Senate, the real majority in the Senate, a cinnamon mansion proof freaking majority is within our reach. Let's go. Let's do this.
You know what I am concerned about though is the House.
Oh yeah. Where was I at? Oh yeah.
We still do need, if we don't hold the House.
Yeah.
If we don't hold the House, we're up shit's creek, because then we're going to have a whole mess of ridiculous shenanigans. All of the progress we've made over 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've been able to make because we have Nancy Pelosi at the helm and responsible adults in the room. That shit is all going to go by the wayside. And they're going to be chasing one bullshit impeachment after another bullshit impeachment.
Yeah. No, you're right. And that is a worry, because it's going to be Benghazi Palooza. It's going to make Benghazi look like a walk in the park. But let's, some trends are looking good right now. A Fox poll today there's this huge Dem shift since May. Women +7, non-white women +8, suburban women +9, men +4, dads +28. Like, why the fuck can't we keep the House?
Dads.
We can. The shit got bad. That Roe changed the motherfucking game. Okay, Kansas told us that Roe changed the game here. So all bets are off in a midterm year when everything should tell us that the Democrats should get their asses kicked. The whole game looks different now. I don't think anything's out of the realm of possibility, and I'm not going to believe it until the day after the election. Everything is called and dust settles. I'm not going to make any predictions to the contrary, other than I believe we can do it. Why not?
And on that note, my friend, I thank you for joining us for another episode of Storytime with BDD.
Thank you for having me. So fun. That's so fun. I talk a lot.
Now just hang out. I'm going to sign off here with my tweeps. I'll be right back with you.
Okay. Bye, friends.
Oh, wait. Hang on a second. Wait, before we go, let me throw up JoJo often has the viral tweets up there. They're fire. They're so hot. Like I touched my screen one time, one of her tweets, and I got 3rd-degree burn on the finger. It was terrible.
Don't put your penis on the screens, folks. You don't.
I would never do it. So JoJo from Jerz, that's her Twitter handle right there. Give her a follow. And JoJo, I will see you on the other side.
Okay. Bye, friends.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another fun episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. If you have not yet gotten your shot, what are you waiting for? Go get that shot. Do it. Do it now. Do it now. Wear a mask. Keep your social distance 6 feet or better. And I will see you guys soon. As you know, I am steadily working on new guests to bring on the show. So I can't tell you what the next interview is because I don't have it lined up yet, but I will. And as soon as I know, you will know. But until then, I love you all. Peace.